Welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to say before we get going, I know some people have had some issues with Swapcard. Everyone's been sent a Vimeo link as an alternative. So please use that if you've had any trouble with Swapcard. I would now like to introduce Kirsten McCarthy, the Sustainability Director from Aggregate Industries, who will give us a presentation, and then there'll be a chance to answer your questions at the end of that presentation. So over to you, Kirsten. If you'd like to say a little bit about yourself before you start, that'd be great.
Sure, thank you very much. And it's my pleasure to be here this afternoon to talk to you about data transparency. So I am, as we've already said, the Sustainability Director for Aggregate Industries. This was actually a brand new role at executive board level that was advertised more than 2 years ago. So I've been in post for 2 years, and we have been on a journey to transitioning the business to become more sustainable. But really, this starts at the very beginning with data. And it was one of the first tasks that I went through with the team and with the whole business to ensure that not only we are transparent in data and carbon reporting, but we're also providing accuracy as well. I was really surprised. Before joining the construction industry, I worked in the aviation sector, and data transparency has been in place for many, many years in that sector. So I was quite surprised to the level of carbon information that was available when I joined Aggregate Industries, and the very reliance that we were on in terms of using kind of industry average values, and those values were calculated every 3 years or more. So I think we've been on a really big journey internally, and I'm happy to share that with you this afternoon. And I'll talk you through my slides now. So just before I do, I'll just introduce Aggregate Industries. I'm sure being on this construction news conference, you'll be familiar with who we are, but this just really sets the scene. We have over 200 sites across the UK, and we're close on 4,000 employees now. In terms of context, though, in terms of our operation and how we need to decarbonise, it's huge, it's significant. So we have 37 quarries across the UK, over 50 asphalt plants. We manufacture building products and solutions through precast, so we have over 14 sites for that. We operate 35 railheads and wharves, so we have a lot of transportation emissions as well. We import cement, so we have 4 cement import terminals, over 80 ready mix plants across the UK, and so in total over 200 sites. And we have one single cement plant. And I'll talk to you about cement as we go through, because in terms of our carbon footprint, to set the scene for Aggregate Industries, although we only have one plant, the carbon footprint for cement means that actually that makes up 70% of our total emissions. So one of those over 200 sites is a significant contributor to our carbon footprint. Really importantly, we are a member of Holcim Group, so that's our parent company. These are one of the largest cement manufacturers in the world, and you can see all over the world there. Important point here is that we have global capability within Holcim, and that's not just about the technical production side, that's around leveraging innovation and carbon reduction initiatives, and we share all that information. So it's really important because Holcim really started this journey for sustainability for Aggregate Industries. So this is kind of where our journey began. So in transitioning our business to be more sustainable and to decarbonise, Holcim were the first construction company to go through the Science Based Targets initiative for cement, to actually have their targets set and validated to get to net zero. So of course, if that's what our parents' company aspirations are, then we need to ensure that that's delivered in a UK country. The first part of that journey is to understand where our impact comes from. And we can only do that with our data. So In terms of Aggregate Industries' vision for sustainability, our vision is to be the UK leader in innovative and building solutions. I won't talk too much around the strategy here that you can see in front of you. It is available on our website. But the one thing I will say is, in order to develop this strategy, we have set ourselves key goals and KPIs that have to be monitored and delivered. So hence, again, the importance of data transparency, not just from an external point of view, but also within our business. It is critical to the delivery of all aspects of our strategy. So why is data important? Pretty obvious. Some quotes here that you'll be familiar with, but if you can't measure it, then you can't manage it. And that was my kind of first observation within the business is, right, we need to understand what our impact is before we then can determine where we want to be and then measure progress. And again, is the other key message here is, if you can't measure it, you certainly can't improve it, or you certainly can't demonstrate you can improve it. And this is really fundamental to us, because and this is for the whole construction sector, and I speak on behalf of all businesses, including our competitors. A lot of work has gone into decarbonising our sector already. We're accelerating that, but before that, a lot of work has gone in. But without the data, we struggle to demonstrate this progress. So this is why it's so important that we have this data and data accuracy. Before I go into our journey, I just wanted to give just a high level kind of overview in terms of the impact of our products. Because if we can manage our data and implement a decarbonisation programme to decarbonise our footprint, then ultimately this falls through to our products, and this is what we're here to deliver. So our asphalt business, so the tons of CO2, this is very average data, is 52 kilograms of CO2 per tonne of asphalt. And aggregates is 7 kgs of CO2 per tonne. Concrete is 454 kgs of CO2 per tonne. And cement, which I already alluded to at the beginning of the presentation, is the significant part of our carbon footprint, and that is 730 kgs per tonne. So it's really important that we understand those numbers and that we can communicate those numbers to our customers, and not just on an average basis, but on an individual product basis. And that's where we got to at the end of our journey, and I'll explain that as we go through this slide deck. So we need accurate data to map our impact. You can see from this slide, Aggregate Industries has a huge impact, and we know that we're responsible for it, and we now understand it. So we have broken down all of our carbon emissions for all of our activities. We've mapped all of our activities out, so we know where we were, and we've taken a baseline of 2020, and we know now where we need to be. And so the first part of that journey is to map out the impact and understand where our carbon comes from. Second part of our strategy is, of course, to transition to net zero. We need the data to enable us to understand our progress. So what we did is, now we've got a true, really transparent view of our impact. We've mapped this out, and we now know that by moving across to, say, I'll give you one example in the interest of time from here, but for our quarry operations, if we move across to electrification and then power that through renewable energy, then we can decarbonise our aggregates. So if we need to get that number down from 7 to 0, and we can measure this now for the provision of data. This is what we're here to deliver. This is not a sales pitch, but we do have sustainable products, and these are available. And the point of this, in terms of the transparency piece, is we provide this information to our customers to inform them that there are low carbon options and alternatives, and also in order to work in collaboration and together to reduce Scope 3 emissions, then it's really clear that we need to be able to demonstrate the benefits of all of the work we're doing, and we do that through the provision of data and then the provision of options for moving towards a more sustainable solution. I'm not going to go through all the products today. It's not a sales pitch. So what I really want to talk about, I've only got a short amount of time to do so, but is Aggregate Industries Your Carbon Report. I'm really proud of this initiative and programme of works that was undertaken to deliver the first in the industry automated carbon reporting tool. And this is to enhance our transparency with our customers of the carbon footprint of our products. Ultimately, that's what we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to build. So Your Carbon Report provides carbon information based upon the life cycle of gates A1 to A4. So that includes the abstraction of raw material, the transportation of the raw material to the manufacturing plant for any of our products. So let's take ready mix, for example. The aggregates and cement will be delivered to a ready mix plant mixed. It will then take the actual energy data that we have through automated energy data reporting from our energy systems to give you the actual carbon footprint. We convert the energy data into carbon. It will give you the actual carbon footprint for the plant itself. So the fuel that's used and the amount of fuel that's used, it's live data that it takes through. And then we can measure the impact of then the delivery from our plant to site. So we have an overview of the carbon footprint from the beginning stages to the end, to the end where we deliver the product to our customer. We call it the next best thing to an EPD on this slide, but actually, unless you've got a dynamic EPD, I actually think this is better than an EPD personally, because you are not using then a kind of average mix. It's based upon the individual mixes of product. It's based upon actual energy and the transport journey. So it is very, very accurate. We want to be market leaders of sustainability. So this is really important for us to be able to provide this data to our customers for allow them to make decisions on carbon, but also for them to accurately declare their own carbon footprint. And this is what our customers have been demanding from us. And we've delivered this through Your Carbon Report. So where we were before, so I mentioned we were receiving an increase in demand from customers for carbon information. So it's really, really positive. Our customers are coming to us saying, what's the embodied footprint of our product? And our customers are also becoming more mature, and they themselves want and need accurate data. This is not just to make decisions and informed decisions, but it's also, again, to demonstrate progress, so that we're not using an industry average that's taken over kind of 3 years. You're not monitoring the progress as much and as quickly and efficiently as you can without this. Our processes were ad hoc before. We did do carbon calculations, but they were very manual, and they referred to multiple databases and pulled together in a spreadsheet. And it was done by individuals in my team. So not only was it ad hoc, there is an element that could be human error, because the human is taking this information from different places and using different systems. But also it's labour intensive. We wanted a system that's quick, accurate, and we can provide customers with the data to their needs as quickly as possible. And then also the data was not verified. So we, through our development of this system, we had the system itself verified by Circular Ecology, and they did a full audit and of the system. So that's where we were. So what did we do? So we integrate. So we first of all examined, where do we get our information from? What's the best source of our sales data, if you like, for what we provide our customers information with? And that's our finance platform. So we've built a system that integrates within our finance system. So if you want to know what your carbon footprint for all your products for Aggregate Industries, we go to the sales record, and then we can, matter of minutes, run off a report, and we can provide that data to our customers. What that includes in terms of how to get to that point, it was a huge piece of work, which I'm not going to read through all of those points there. You can see them. But we had to go through and make sure that all of the data that fed then into this system and talked to our finance system was accurate. So it was a big project and a huge piece of work. But what we've ended up with is something like this, and I hope you can see this clearly on the screen, but if not, again, our website contains information like this. So we can essentially pull off a report that can be based upon any time, so a week, a month, a year, and it will pull off all the products that were bought from Aggregate Industries. It will also pull off projects, so project-based sales. So, for example, if we're developing a road scheme and we're supplying asphalt and contracting to deliver the scheme, we could put in a road scheme name, and then we can pull off all of the carbon data that was associated with that scheme. So again, in a matter of minutes. So we think this is really advanced in terms of the ability to provide transparent information to our customers. And we can provide it not just by the product overall, we can break down each of the individual components and provide that information if required. So how do we get this information? It's very simple. Customers go through our website, or they can go through their commercial contact. There was a huge training exercise that was undertaken internally, and we've had to change a lot in terms of our culture and behaviour within Aggregate Industries. It wasn't the norm to provide carbon data. Everyone was fearful of providing carbon data because, this shows we've got a big impact. Yes, it does. Our products do have a carbon impact associated with it. But what's important is we can demonstrate that we are reducing that. So our customers can come through our website, and then it goes to an analyst that will do the calculation, and it will go back to the customer. So it says here most requests are turned around within 2 to 3 days. That's just to ensure that the volume of requests we get, that the report is accurate and it's all checked. In terms of verification, the system, I say, has been verified, and the actual process only takes a few minutes to turn that around. And we're really proud that to deliver this tool, transparency is important. It's important that we're not ashamed about carbon. It's important that we talk about it. It's important that we influence the marketplace and deliver savings. And it's important that we can measure that in a transparent way. These are just some slides to summarise. I'm just conscious of my time, and also I had a video to play at the end, but I'm guessing it's not going to work. But just in summary, what are the benefits of this system? It's providing accuracy of data within an individual product from an individual site based upon that impact of that product. So it's not taking industry averages. We can deliver it, turn it around in speed. We believe it's robust carbon data. It's been verified by external consultants. We've got confidence in it, and you can have confidence in it in terms of customers. But really importantly, it allows us to collaborate. And from an internal point of view, this data has been fantastic, because what it's also allowed us to do is see where our carbon footprint is, and where there are potential anomalies that we can make quick decisions to improve based on how we transport our products, where we procure our products from. And it's given a whole breadth of new information that enables us to deliver on our decarbonisation journey, to deliver lower carbon products to the market. And I'm going to try and play the video, but I'm guessing if the first one didn't work, this one may not either, but let's give it a go. No, yeah, there we go. So that's it from me, really. I hope to give you an overview of our decarbonisation journey, stress how important data is. You've got to have it, it's got to be accurate, how important it is to our customers that we can provide this in a transparent way, and that how we can all work together collaboratively to reduce the carbon impact of the construction industry.
Thank you, Kirsten. That was brilliant. We are using Slido for questions, so I'm not seeing it, but I guess the audience, are seeing a Slido. There we go. A Slido link. If you click on that and get Slido up, you can get your questions through that way. In the meantime, I'll just a few words from me. Kirsten, that was great. It's such a valuable thing to do, and clearly something that I would hope, I'm sure everybody hopes, is becomes much more universally adopted as an approach, and great to be a leader in terms of that. I'm very interested to know, once you've got data, as you said earlier on, you can manage and improve. In terms of customer behaviours and all that, has there been a marked impact on the choices that customers are making in relation to your products?
Yes, it has, and particularly in the London area, for certainly on our ready mix concrete, we are now able to provide the transparent data to determine what the carbon footprint is. And then we do have low carbon solutions that we can switch to. So we have seen an increase in our sales of our low carbon range, which is EcoPact for concrete in particular. But yes, we have. We've also had excellent feedback from our customers from this data, because what we have recognised is if we are using industry averages that are years old, a lot of the time are actually producing lower carbon products than the industry average. So our customers are able to demonstrate themselves that they've made progress, as well as then shifting their behaviour to go even further. So it motivates you in that sense. So, and it's a useful tool for us to have those conversations with our customers together, to work together to further drive carbon out of our products.
That's great. And this might be a bit of an unfair question, but do you feel that what you've done is driving research and development of more carbon friendly, more environmentally friendly materials within aggregate industries and Holcim?
Oh yes, definitely, and the reason for that really is that for the first time we get to see the full picture, and it not necessarily always just using different materials, which of course plays a big part of our decarbonisation strategy, but it allows us to change our behaviour to. I did allude to this quite rushed at the end of the presentation, but we've identified that we were importing aggregates from and putting it in a truck absolutely miles, and that was increasing the carbon footprint of our aggregates. So actually, if you use a closer and local supply, and just breaking those habits of we haven't asked ourselves that question for a long time, we can make a difference just by changing some of our operational our behaviours that not necessarily all innovative. But yes, now we've got the data, we want to go further. So we've identified that this is great, this is how we've got to, but how do we get further decarbonisation? How we've done that through the provision of data from an internal perspective is every division, so each of our divisions, so cement is one division, ready mix is another, asphalt is another, concrete building products is another division, and aggregates is the other. So how we've done that is we have provided the carbon footprint for each of those businesses on a site level, and we've empowered the teams to come up with suggestions and to drive decarbonisation in each of those areas. And we set targets for each division to decarbonise, and then we can now report on that, the progress of that data and those actions on a frequent basis. So we report it and we have it on our board table every month. We present the decarbonisation by individual business area, which translates obviously to the product carbon reduction. So the data itself from an internal perspective has been transformative. And we've also used it as a really good tool internally to engage our employees. So we've developed an app that, from a site level, a site manager on a simple ready-mix plant or an asphalt plant, or as big as a cement plant or a quarry, can go in to the app and see their carbon footprint. They can see what their footprint was currently, what it was like yesterday, what it was like over the last week, and we've developed key metrics within that app that allows our site managers to have CO2 data at their fingertips, so they understand the footprint, but importantly, where they can make a difference.
No, that's great, and I think that's how leadership works in this sort of thing. Very interesting to think about the wider influence that you're having with this, and indeed what you might like to see in terms of encouragement from other parties, including the government, around these things. Would you recommend some form of mandating and firmer rules? How do you think that this can be scaled and propagated in the most dramatic or rapid way?
Yes, government has a key role to play in this, and the fact that it's not standardised does cause a problem. It causes a problem for the customer ultimately, because we would all, as for aggregate industries and its competitors, will be all providing lower carbon solutions. But how do you really compare what that result is? So we need standardisation. I think the approach that we've taken has been an advance of that. Anything that's come from government, we know they've consulted upon this, but we're yet to see any firm proposals over kind of the future of product labelling. I think we're kind of leading the way really as an industry, and not waiting for government. But really importantly, what we're doing and there's a session just after me, I think, the fireside chat with and Adam O'Rourke. So we are working in collaboration with Causeway and our other key tier one partners to share the data that Aggregate Industries has, so that we can build a tool that is even easier for our customers and clients to obtain their scope 3 data. So in advance of government, we're trying to standardise it ourselves as an industry, but ultimately, we need government to step in and support.
Have you seen, or are you involved in international efforts around this? I mean, is your tool being used in other countries, and what's the relationship between what you're doing and the sort of international dimension?
Yeah, so actually we are leading the way in terms of our group for Holcim. So, and that's largely because the biggest part of the Holcim portfolio, although it is changing, is cement manufacturing. We're quite unique as in aggregate industries in the UK, because we have products that don't necessarily fit with Holcim. So we have aggregates, asphalt, and our building products and solutions that Holcim doesn't have that. So we are unique. So we've had to develop something that's unique. What our group's doing is that, and what we are also doing and what we have done is delivered EPDs. So, but dynamic EPDs. So we're working with our partner Climate Earth, who's been working with Holcim to deliver EPD, so environmental product declarations, for those that aren't aware of an EPD, but I'm sure everyone on here is. So from a global point of view, Holcim are leading the way with dynamic EPDs, which we're adopting in the UK. What the difference between a static EPD and a dynamic EPD is, it's quite similar to the tool that we have, is that it's not quite as sophisticated in terms of the level of detail, but what it does do is it gives you the data based upon an individual plant. So not kind of an average of, say, all of your plants in London. We have had each of our plants assessed, and they're reassessed to ensure that we're providing the most dynamic information as we can. So it's an advanced EPD, if you like. So that's what Holcim are doing, and we're doing that in London now.
Unfortunately, I think we're out of time. The time has flown by. Thank you very much. There are a couple of questions I didn't manage to get to. Apologies. We are now moving to a fireside chat between Adam O'Rourke and Jack Warney from Balfour Beatty. Should be an air conditioning unit side report, I think, chat on a day like this. But so over to that, and I'll leave you for a little while. So thank you, Kirsten, and everyone can tune in to the chat. you.